The Aiper 1000, is it a waste of money? Hey there and welcome back to The Pool Nerd. I'm Justin, your resident pool aficionado. And today, I'm talking about the Aiper 1000 pool cleaner. I wanted this low-cost unit to succeed, but I can tell you the Aiper 1000 is one of the worst pool cleaners I have ever tested, only beat out by the Aiper 600. It's popular because it's cheap and cordless, but those are also its biggest defects. The battery in the Aiper simply doesn't last. After only 2 months of testing, it wouldn't even hold a charge. I did test the previous Aiper 1000 model, and the result was similar. Not to mention, it wore down quickly in the sun. I was hoping the issues were resolved, as Aiper sells this as an upgraded model, but they aren't. As for its performance, you're better off cleaning your pool by hand. So if you were looking at the Aiper, I suggest you look elsewhere, and here's why. The design and build quality of the Aiper 1000 is more like a toy truck than a robotic pool cleaner. It has a cheap and flimsy plastic build when compared to Dolphin or Aquabot robot bodies. Look at these plastic wheels. Even though they have some tread imprinted, the slippery hard plastic won't offer real traction on pool floors. This is especially disappointing when compared to another above-ground robotic pool cleaner, the Dolphin Escape, which has tracks with tread that can even climb walls. All the Aiper can do is move forward and back on a completely flat surface. If you expect it to do any more than that, you'll be disappointed. The Aiper's pool coverage is shockingly subpar. It's only supposed to clean pool floors, so that's already pretty elementary, but it does a terrible job covering even the simple pool floor layout. For one, you have to have a flat pool floor, so no in-ground pools with slopes. Even if your flat, above-ground pool has a vinyl wrinkle at the bottom, the Aiper might struggle getting over that. When the Aiper does clean, it moves very fast. You might think that's a pro, but it's actually the exact opposite. It moves so quickly that it doesn't have time to pick up debris, and it doesn't have any intelligent navigation on board. So you're left hoping it will cover all the pool floor rather than knowing it will. Depending on the shape of your pool, you're supposed to be able to adjust these nozzles to control its cleaning route. I tried this, but I never noticed a big enough difference. The Aiper's coverage was disappointing every time. Even if the Aiper 1000 had good pool coverage, even for just pool floors, it would be hard to recommend because it's so weak thanks to its battery. Again, that may seem like a pro, but it's not. The Aiper has to charge for 6 to 7 hours before it'll clean for 60 to 90 minutes. After using it a few times, I could tell the Aiper's main energy goes toward movement and not toward suction. It left behind a frustrating amount of debris, and I think that's because it's just not powerful enough to suck up much of anything. It especially left behind a lot of leaves. I'd watch it zoom over them without picking up any significant amount. There's a brush attachment that goes on the bottom of the Aiper, but it doesn't contribute much to cleaning your pool. It's static, so it just drags along as the Aiper moves. It might help dislodge some debris that's stuck to pool floors, but remember how weak the Aiper's suction power is. Even if the flimsy static brush managed to scrub out anything, it's a toss-up whether the Aiper can get it into its filter. Compared to the front spinning brush on the Dolphin Escape, the Aiper's static brush is almost decorative. Now for what I think is the most crucial part of any pool cleaner review. What's it like to use? And more importantly, will it make my life easier as a pool owner? You guessed it, the Aiper 1000 isn't good. Watching it zoom over settled dirt and especially leaves was so frustrating as a pool owner. I went and got my pool net out before the Aiper had even finished its cleaning job. Even if it had captured that debris, you'd be disappointed with its inefficient filter. To get to it, you have to remove the entire top body of the unit, and then it's just a flat tray with a flimsy mesh covering. There's no way this could hold a meaningful amount of debris, even if it were powerful enough to do so. For instance, the Dolphin Escape has an easy access top-loading basket that can hold several times as much debris as the Aiper. Then there's the cordless charging design. I get the appeal of a cordless pool cleaner, but the Aiper's cordless design is a huge nuisance. I had to charge it 6 hours for an initial 90-minute clean. As I used it throughout the week, it got to the point where I had to charge the Aiper for 7 hours just for a 45-minute clean. The longer you have the Aiper 1000 and the more often you have to charge it, the worse its battery life becomes. I don't know if I've ever tried a robotic pool cleaner that is this much of a hassle. If an hour-long cleaning wasn't enough for my pool, which it rarely is for any pool, I have to wait the better part of a day for the Aiper to fully charge just to run for another hour. I waited nearly 12 hours of charging time for just a 2-hour cleaning, and a poor cleaning at that. Finally, there's its longevity. Aiper has a vague 2-year quality assurance on its Amazon listing, but good luck finding the fine print on that. I've tried to reach out and gotten nothing. Its cheap design and depleting battery life means you'd be lucky if it lasted a full pool season. I tested the older Aiper 1000 model a year ago, and it no longer charges and is sun bleached. Okay, so what's my final verdict on the Aiper 1000? It's pool nerd disapproved. This cheaply made, mass-produced Chinese robot isn't something I'd recommend to anyone. It moves quickly around the pool floor, so I suppose it'll help circulate water. But that's all it can do. You can't rely on it to pick up debris, it won't climb walls, and it won't actively scrub the walls. Its filtration is inadequate, and its decreasing battery supply means you'll spend more time charging it and starting it than watching it clean. The Aiper not only leaves more work for pool owners to do, it's an active nuisance. I highly suggest looking at the Dolphin Escape as an alternative. It has a clear 2-year warranty, and its dual DC motors give it power to clean floors, climb walls, and suck up debris that the Aiper 1000 would leave behind. Plus, its smart nav software actually maps your pool for better coverage, and the front Aiper brush scrubs away debris as efficiently as if you were manually scrubbing with a pool brush. If you want to keep nerding out over your pool, be sure to hit that subscribe button to keep learning how to make pool maintenance way easier. Head on over to thepoolnerd.com to view my comparison page and see all the differences between the many robotic pool cleaners out there. Until then, enjoy that pool and check back soon for more pool maintenance tips and insight.